Beautiful, beautiful. We are back and it's time for the newspaper review. This is Hope at Dawn and my name is Beatrice Watari. So let's get down to it. And the very first story here is one that requires us to keep praying. I see here nature's fury deluge has also caused businesses to suffer losses and disrupted road and also rail transport. And I see here a picture of a dad who is carrying the daughter and trying to cross her over to the other side. And this is a rescue team which was evacuating residents from their submerged homes at Graceland Estate in Athi River, Machakos County yesterday after heavy rains on Tuesday night. And this whole thing about Athi River, I mean, it's on another level. I think we have seen the videos trending, the photos trending, whereby you would even see a house unaona tu rooftop peke yake. That's how terrible it is. And I was just saying this morning that sometimes we can pray for a blessing. We want the rain, but then when it comes to the preparedness on the ground, on paper, very much prepared. But then when it comes to qua ground, are we really prepared for these heavy rains that we are asking for? We are asking God, we want the rain to rain. But then if we do not take care of our drainage system, then it becomes a problem. And most of these things could have been avoided. It is our own undoing. Honestly, most of it is our own mistakes, because as you can see the picture here, as you can see on your screen, the floods nightmare is literally on another level. You're seeing a dad trying to carry, I don't know if it's the dad, but I think this is the rescue team trying to carry people all across. It was a nightmare, especially in Athi River, that is in Machakos County. And I see here deaths, more than 10 people have lost their lives in the last 3 days following heavy rains in Nairobi and also its surrounding. And we have also here raging waters have swept away bridges and destroyed people's homes and property while marooning entire estates. On other news, we have President Ruto directs formation of a multi-agency team as Azimio Chief Odinga wants floods declared a national disaster. So that's still on that particular news. And when we go to the second page, I see here it's still the same issue. Rains batter Nairobi and its environs and leaving residents counting heavy losses, not just of houses, of people, but also of businesses, which are really suffering. And just to touch on a few areas that have been greatly affected, we have residents of Mwiki. We are seeing them with a crane attempting to recover a lorry from River Maji Mazuri yesterday. I think that video was seen. The lorry fell down and then there was a matatu that also fell down at the same place and people were trying to jump up. We have rescue teams here evacuating residents from their homes in Graceland Estate, that is in Athi River. I also see a cameraman here struggling to wade through flood water at Graceland Estate in Athi River. We have so many cases. We have Rispa Mangera, who is sorting her household items at her home in Clay City, Kasarani, after it was heavily flooded. We have also Thiha village in Mokoreine, Nyeri County, near a section of a bridge over River Gura that collapsed, disrupting transport between the Gaini and Mokoreine town. This is actually where I used to school, somewhere around there. And I also see here a Red Cross team evacuates residents from Graceland Estate as well. And it's on and on. About what is happening. We have Mathare and Batini area also. We have also Nairobi County staff clear trees that fell on Moi Avenue. We have had trees falling even on that road near Nairobi University, the lower Kabete road. Also, we had trees falling as well, disrupting a lot of movement. So we have so many things and chaos happening in our country, but may we continue to pray for our nation, Kenya. And going to page 3, still on the same story, death and destruction as floods ravage the country. And we have more than 10 people who have been feared dead in Nairobi as President Ruto directs formation of response team. Azimio leader Raila Odinga here is saying it is our urgent appeal that the government hereby declare the floods a national disaster and immediately activate all emergency mechanisms, including military disaster response teams. We hope and believe that this will be taken seriously because many businesses have been affected. Kenya Railways has also suspended some of its services. 7 and also 6, I see Yatani County boss quizzed by EACC. Several Marsabit County top officials also taken for questioning. And I see here on page 7, sub-county school students highly disadvantaged, and survey shows the schools have poor facilities as well as high incidence of teacher-student absenteeism. And moving on, I see Col Keitani was God-fearing and humorous, widow says. Airman who died in a military helicopter crash shares many similarities with his boss, General Ogola. This is really, really sad. But I believe that even the message that we had yesterday about, even as we mourn, we are not to mourn as those who do not have hope, especially for those who have died in the Lord and have died knowing Christ. I see Colonel Duncan Keitani, one of the airmen who died with Chief of Defense Forces, the late Francis Ogola, in a helicopter crash last week, shared startling similarities with his boss. We are told that even in this crash, General had his Bible with him. And I see here, like General Ogola, Colonel Keitani helped build a church. He was deeply a religious man, and he paid school fees for the poor. He also donated land to the church at his home in Elder Maravin, Baringo County. This is sad as it is beautiful as well. And I see here daughter Michelle saying he would light a fire, then we would sit, talk, laugh, and have a good time together, and advise the child to work very hard. And moving on page 10, I see we've lifted barriers to foreign investment. Somalia PM says move gives foreigners the green light to wholly own their investments, repatriate capital, and enjoy full protection. This is steady economic growth rate 2.8. That is the percentage of Somalia's economic growth rate in 2023 compared to 2.2% in 2022, according to the World Bank. This is on page 10. And maybe moving on. Looking at the county news here, I see fertilizer farm questions hasty compensation plan. Farmers who use the substandard input say crops are showing stunted growth. We had the same story just not so long ago about maize growing in a what they called a weird way because of they attributed that to the fertilizer, the subsidized fertilizer that was given. All farmers who have utilized the fertilizers, and NCPB has verified that they procured from their stores, will be issued with an equivalent amount of the top dressing fertilizer. Now let's go to the back page, and it says start firing them. Now we've come to a very bad level whereby now the firing has stepped in because doctors have remained defiant. Remember, we covered a story being stated that actually the government and the state are planning to have conversations with them, talking to see if they can come to an agreement. Just yesterday, we also looked at the interns. They need 200,000, but then the government was saying that they need to pick 70,000, which has also caused an uproar as well. I see here that medics insist interns issue must be addressed for strike to end. But then now we have them being fired. So now it's on another level. But go to the back page because it has been very well elaborated. The 19 issues raised by doctors and also the CBA, and one of them being failure by the government to honor and implement court directives, what they agreed on the CBA. And moving on the sports page, I see here Omanyala will be ready for Paris Olympic Games, says Coach Kimani. Kimani said they are working and exposing the 28-year-old to all sorts of physical and weather conditions to make him run faster. And I see here also on page 39, Mara Sugar Sink Migori Youth to go top of National Super League standings. And now we can cross over to the Standard just briefly, and the very top page is jobs. What jobs? That is the question being asked. I see joblessness in Kenya is witnessing increasing levels of unemployment coupled with mass layoffs by distressed farms and reduced earnings for those retaining jobs, according to a new report which blames high taxation, soaring interest rates, unpredictable policies, and government's failure to settle bills owed to suppliers. And 4.5% is the Kenya's total employment growth rate in 2022, down from 5.3% in 2021, 3.7% being the formal sector, that is the employment growth rate 2022, down from a high of 5.9% the previous year. 35% is the percentage of unemployed Kenyans, according to the government data, and that is a very huge amount. And 794 billion spending bills owed to the private sector by the government, hurting liquidity and dampening jobs. We have cases people losing their jobs. We have cases of firing, or rather not really firing, but laying off people so that they can reduce the cost in which they have to incur in paying the salaries. And I also see debts, massive losses as floods cause havoc, still on what we have talked about. But here, the picture being given is on Madare area, which was trying to salvage their belongings after a night of flooding caused by heavy rains. And I also see here national MPs ignore proposals of Raila Ruto talks team. House team has defied the decision of National Dialogue Committee pass IEBC Amendment Bill 2024 without any alterations, and instead proposing key changes in the electoral legislation. And going here on the standard business page, that is, I see shipping and logistics, how Kenya is losing billions in freight charges due to lack of ships. A big chunk of freight is going to Ethiopia and Seychelles. Kenya National Shipping Line doesn't own a single cargo ship plying international waters. Look at that story that is on the pullout. And going on the sports page, the back page here, I see the very big battle that Gigi was talking about, and he was very elated just yesterday. Arsenal versus Chelsea. Chelsea waligongwa mabao matano kwa dunge. Hivyo ndio kuko. I'm seeing here 5-star Arsenal open up Premier League lead. Arteta praises his team for making fans proud as they maul London rivals Chelsea. Liverpool played Merseyside rivals yesterday, hoping to close gap on Gunners at the top. And moving on to page 39, teams now ready for World Athletics Relays in Bahamas. Omanyala and Mora will be leading the Kenyan team as Mark Otieno makes comeback. 893 athletes from 54 countries will be competing in the event that is in Nassau. Lastly, Kenya Prisons capture bronze in Africa Club Championships. That is on the volleyball. That is on the sports page. And moving to the business page, I also see here debt beats development, recurrent spend combined. Debt service costs consume 1.24 trillion in 9 months. Full year debt expenditure expected to hit 1.86 trillion. And I also see here on the life, that is on page 19, castor oil craze is this elixir of beauty and health. Wale wa castor oil imekuwa nadhani ina trend kidogo pale kwenye beauty and all that. So look at that story that is on page 19. Get to know what is being reported. And I see here sugar in baby food start holding Nestle to account in Africa. That is on the back page. And of course, Paulo Coelho. I always love reading these quotes because, they are good. This is from a Brazilian lyricist. Where am I Kikuyu? Lyricist and novelist. Anasema, every blessing ignored becomes a curse. What? Every blessing ignored becomes a curse. I need a minute to meditate on that. So let's take a short break. Look at the video of the day. We'll come back, talk about it.